excuse us, we will skip a few slides as we go, because naturally we want to work it to our audience, which is your good self.
Although,
so warm welcome.
Just a sec, sorry, Kat. Just thinking about it, we might not want to snip in completely, because this is being recorded for people that can't actually attend at the time. So we might want to include what we were fully going to do, possibly, because that will then cover to everybody else as well. Thinking about it.
Okay. So warm welcome to your good self and everybody else who may be watching us at a later date. We are doing a presentation this morning on direct payments and the support services wrapped around receiving a direct payment. We're going to be talking about the service, the impact covering children's as well as covering adults. So some of the questions we'll hopefully answer for you today is what is a direct payment? How would you get a direct payment? And then the support services that go in line with accessing a direct payment, what we are, what do we do, and how do we do what we do. And then we'll have a little question section at the end, or you can ask some questions as you go along if you would like. So Sean is going to start us off with what is a direct payment?
Thank you, Kat. Hello, everybody. My name is Sean Copeman. Just going to briefly talk about what a direct payment is before we sort of go into a bit more detail of how they work. So a direct payment is a monetary sum that Norfolk County Council pays directly to service users or their representatives so that they can buy and arrange their own care and support instead of us arranging it and commissioning it ourselves. So if yourself or someone that you're looking after have been assessed as needing social care support, be it through either adult services or through a short breaks for children's services, you have the option of potentially asking for a direct payment as a way of meeting your eligible care needs through Norfolk County Council services. So rather than us saying you have to have a particular service, we can give you the funds into a dedicated account to buy those own services as long as they meet your agreed needs. So the services themselves are provided through Norfolk County Councils, and the funds are provided through Norfolk County Council. And the people that are assessed for adult services are assessed via the Care Act 2014 and the Children's and Families Act 2014 that affects those that are receiving services through children's. And we have a requirement as a local authority to provide care and support to all those that have assessed eligible needs. So I'm just going to pass you back to Kat.
Thank you. So next slide is how to access a direct payment. So it's two different routes, whether you're a child or applying for as an adult. So for children, it is 5 up to the age of 18. And you can apply for direct payment in the means of accessing a short break. So short breaks plans are eligible, but you provide evidence. If you go onto the Norfolk website, norfolk.gov website, if you in the little search bar up the top either click local offer or type in short breaks, it will then bring up some information about what a short break is and how you go about becoming eligible for one. I've popped on there for you part of the application process as a child is to complete a resource allocation questionnaire. It's all transparent, it's all online, so you can access and read everything to then find out what evidence you need to provide. And currently everything is being done pretty much electronically, the discussions and the evidence that you're sending in. So based on that assessment of the allocation questionnaire, that decides whether you are eligible for a budget, and then you then go on to a short breaks plan, which can then be delivered via a direct payment. Within the adult side, as it says there, you need to contact adult social services. Again, all the contact details can be found on the norfolk.gov website there. And if a person meets the Care Act eligibility, the option of a direct payment is discussed along with the practitioner as a way of meeting your care needs. So that is how you access a direct payment for children's and for adults. So the benefits of a direct payment is independence. It gives you that ability of a choice and control. You can manage your own budget. You can choose the services that best meet your own care needs. So it's not like you have to go into a directory and pick X, Y, and Z. You have what is around your local area available. The employer carer of their choice are available on our website. You can purchase services directly, so it cuts out that middleman, and it does give you greater access to the local community.
So there are two different types of direct payment accounts that a person can have. They are the supported account or a self-managed account. Now, the difference between supported account and self-managed account is that you get much more support and much more of the elements of managing a direct payment done for you. So, for example, we've got a little table here that gives a little bit of a comparison. So for both accounts, for both supported accounts and self-managed accounts, we've got a dedicated administration team, and they help with the setup of the direct payments. So they will arrange for the terms and conditions to be sent through to you. Pre-COVID, they would come and visit you and discuss the terms and conditions, discuss what was agreed, particularly for adults, what has been put out in your care and support plan, and explain the terms and conditions for you. At the moment, that's being all done remotely via telephone and postal service. But you get that for both the supported account and both self-managed account. So you also get a dedicated prepaid financial services bank account. So this is a dedicated account where direct payments money is paid into. If you're an adult services user and you may have a contribution to make towards that cost of that care, you would also put your contribution into that dedicated prepaid financial services bank account also. Then for self-managed accounts only, you have what's called a prepaid financial services card. So that's a debit card. We'll talk a bit more about that shortly, including online bank access. Now you have that as within the self-managed account. You don't have that on a supported account because that is a big part of the element that we do for you. We manage that bank account for you as a service. So for people that wouldn't want the stress and worry maybe that might go with managing a bank account of this sort of thing, then we will do that for you. We will make sure that, you know, we're keeping an eye on what is in the account. You know, we'll help you make the spending and so on and so forth. We also have helpful paying invoices. So this isn't something that we do for a self-managed account because you're self-managing it. You do that yourself via the dedicated bank account. But we do that sort of thing for you. If you're going to a day centre, for example, and receive invoices, or you have a self-employed personal assistant that submits invoices to you, if you have a supported account, we'll receive those invoices once you send them to us, and then we will pay them on your behalf. The next thing on there is the payroll administration. Now, the payroll is available for people that employ a personal assistant directly, and it's a dedicated service which we'll talk a little bit more about shortly. Now, the payroll is nearly always given to supported accounts, but it's an option for the self-managed account. So we've got a little exclamation mark symbol showing there. It denotes that it's an option within the self-managed account if the person having the direct payment that's self-managed wants that. Also, for the employment and recruitment support, again, it's an option if somebody wants that. It's usually included for supported accounts, but for a self-managed account, it's an option. And we have a dedicated direct payment customer support team. I mean, they are available to everybody, but the options are of sending bank statements. We don't usually send bank statements for people that have self-managed accounts because they are able to access online, but we can send those accounts to people that request them if they have a supported account. So introducing the way we actually support people in this, and that is our service, the Direct Payment Support Services. Now, as part of our service, we have various different elements to our Direct Payment Support Service, and they include the following teams. So first of all, we have the Information and Advice team. This team is the Direct Payments Client Services team. They are the sort of front-facing team for practitioners, but also for service users and people that hold direct payments. So any queries, we've got a telephone number dedicated there for the customer service team, and they're there for general advice, guidance. They will send out statements to people that if they're requested to do that. They pay the invoices and expenses if someone has a supported account and needs to submit invoices and makes other payments. And they also provide PPE equipment. So Norfolk County Council provides free, at the moment, provides free PPE to people that are supported by personal assistance through direct payments. So they can contact that team to get their free PPE supplies. They also provide online support to navigating our website. We have a live chat facility which goes directly to that team. So if you don't necessarily want to speak to someone over the telephone or didn't want to email in, you can speak to people live within that team and they will be able to answer your questions as they go. Also on our website, which is www.norfolk.gov.uk/DPSS, it includes materials such as how-to guides, frequently asked questions, easy read documents, service leaflets, and all sorts of information that anybody that is accessing a direct payment is likely to need, and also for information for people supporting those people. Next team we'll talk about is our employment support team. Now, this is a dedicated team which have two functions, really. They help with recruiting personal assistants. So if you have a direct payment and you want to recruit a personal assistant to support you, then the team is there. If you're looking for someone, they'll work with you. They'll work out what the job application, not the job application. They work out what the vacancy needs to look like based on what's been agreed in your care and support or your short breaks plan. They will go through advertising it for you. They will help you to gather all the applications and then enable people to shortlist that way. They will help with things like setting up employment contracts. And then once an employer is set up, with their personal assistant, they are there as an employment support function. So they can answer any questions that an employer may have around being an employer. What do I need to do in this scenario? This has happened. What do I need to do? Am I allowed to do this? Those sorts of things. And they liaise with our insurance company, Fish Insurance, which we'll talk a bit more about shortly. They provide a DBS check-in service free of charge for anybody that is looking to recruit people. And they will provide support to anyone that is employing someone through a direct payment. And regardless of what the query is, they're more than happy to speak to people. We then have our payment services, so primarily our payroll team. Again, this is a dedicated payroll team. We process payroll each month for the personal assistants that support our service users, and we process around about 1,300 to 1,400 personal assistance timesheets every month. So what the payroll service does, they receive all the information, including the hours, the holiday and sickness. They process that into our payroll system. They provide pay slips. They make payments for nest pensions, national insurance, tax, and make sure everything's up to date with HMRC. So that service is all encompassing, and everything that it would need to go along with employing a person and running a payroll system is covered by that team. We will talk a little bit more about it in a moment, but we also have a payroll timesheet app, which has been very, very useful during COVID-19 when people aren't able to move paper around quite so easily. So it's a really, really useful service that we have there. And that payroll team, again, they're a dedicated team that are there to support people that employ personal assistants. Back to you, Kat. You're muted, Kat.
There we go. I'm back in the room. So we've talked a lot about self-managed and managed accounts. So these work by the company using prepaid financial services. So that's the bank account company. They create the bank accounts for us. And it is just, when we talk about your self-managed accounts, it is like having a Barclays, a Santander, a TSB account. You receive a sort code, an account number, and where you're self-managed, the beautiful golden credit card, MasterCard that sits in the middle there is what is sent to your home, which then enables you to make payments using that function. It is contactless as well. So if within your care plan, short break plan, you are able to do on-spot purchases out and about, you would be able to use the contactless function there. You have, once you've received your card, within that you get a letter, it gives you a contact number, you call up the telephone number and they will release your PIN number, and then you'd be able to access the online function as you would any other bank account. So you'll be able to say things going in, things going out. You'll be able to make one-off payments. You'll be able to set up regular weekly, full weekly payments, etc. So it really does give you that ownership of self-management. On the managed side of things, the account is set up still. The only difference is you don't get the card in the post. The team sitting within Norfolk County Council have access to that account, and they will make any transactions that are required on your behalf there for you. We have our own dedicated
no sound.
Email contact with Timesheet, which is as well.
Right.
So any further questions or queries on that, you can have a little look online, or you can ring up the telephone number for further advice and guidance on that one. Moving over to insurance. So this complements when you are employing a PA. This is something that anybody who goes forward with employing a PA, you will automatically be enrolled within this fish insurance policy. It's it's a cracking deal that we've managed to get on the policy. Historically, in the years gone by there, policies could vary from £60–70 up to potentially £180, depending on what the needs of the service user was, whether you needed more than one person looking after you at the same time, etc. If behaviours, bits and pieces came into play, the policy then became more expensive. We have organised a very good deal with Fish Insurance. So regardless of whether you're an adult or a child, the insurance policy is £55. So everybody is auto-enrolled because there isn't anywhere that could match that price, let alone beat it. However, if you did choose to go, you didn't want to use Fish, you wanted to stay with a local known company, you'd need to have that discussion with the DPSS team to make sure that you are getting all the benefits that Fish cover in their policy that is up on the screen there for you now. Also, another complement to when you are employing a PA is the Direct Payment Support Services Timesheet App. So Sean, if you can, I don't know if thank you very much. So the Timesheet app there is available on the App Store and on Google. It is completely free. Just do a little search. The little icon will come up as in the Direct Payment Support Services picture. You click on there and then it will save onto your, you can use it on your mobile phone, you can use it on your laptop. You would need to email in to the Timesheet app to request your user login details. That's what you need for the first time for security. And then once you've received those, you then have free access to start using the app. The picture is quite small on there, but hopefully you might be able to see that it does cover everything that you should need to record on a timesheet: sickness, holiday, and of course, most importantly, the hours worked. The beautiful thing about this app is it's mobile, which is great. So you can use it on different devices. The PA will need to use it as well as the person who is the employer. And then the hours go in and then you can type them in as you go. So if somebody's working a really sporadic pattern, you can type them in as you go rather than thinking, oh, what did I do this week, and doing it at the end of the week. And then you can ping those over to the employer. The employer will look through, check to make sure that they are the hours that were indeed worked, and wish to submit them for the payroll run. So it's an electronic version. It takes away the need of any printing of timesheets or going online and then typing in on a manual timesheet. And say is brilliant now that we're into the COVID. It speeds things up. It takes out human error because there's no misinterpretation of looking at pay rates, hours worked, etc. It's all typed. So that is a real good benefit of the Timesheet app. It's instantly downloadable and is very accessible to all people. So I'm now going to pass you back to Sean, who will lead on nicely on where to find a PA.
Thank you, Kat. Hopefully I haven't unmuted myself. I wasn't 100% sure I had, but I'm guessing you can hear me. So I want to talk about the Norfolk Community Directory now. So finding a personal assistant can be quite difficult. I mean, we have a dedicated employment service team, which is there to help people that have a direct payment find PAs, but people can also look on what's called the Norfolk Community Directory. We have a dedicated personal assistance section on there, where you will find personal assistants that want to be employed through a payroll system, but also some self-employed personal assistants. So our employment service teams deals primarily with actually employing a PA by a service user, but the actual the ability to have a self-employed PA is also there within a direct payment, and there's lots of PAs on the Norfolk Community Directory. We've got anywhere between any one time, there's usually around about 70 to 90, it fluctuates, personal assistants that are currently looking for work in and across Norfolk. And the good thing with the Norfolk Community Directory is it's a free service to look on. It's a free service for the personal assistants to sign up to. And as an employer or someone looking for a personal assistant to support them, you can search your locality, the available and the types of people that they're able to support. So you can make sure that you can sort of narrow it down as much as necessarily you want to, and then you can get in contact with them to see if if their availability and their requirements perhaps meet your necessary requirements. So the Norfolk Community Directory is found at communitydirectory.norfolk.gov.uk, and any personal assistants looking to sign up to that, I say it's a free service, and they can go to www.norfolk.gov.uk/PA sign up, fill out a quick web form, and then we will upload everybody that wants to go onto there as a free service. It's a really, really useful service. Our employment services team uses that service as well. They look on there and send sort of invites to apply for jobs out. So it's a very, very useful service to anybody that wants to access it. To complement that, we've also got adult learning and the personal assistant training provided by them. At the moment, it's a mixture of online and face-to-face training. With the second lockdown, it's now become all online training, but face-to-face will hopefully resume very shortly. And the purpose around this is to help to strengthen the knowledge base around people that are supporting our direct payment service users. So we have courses on there, things like working with adults, working with children, pathways into childcare, pathways into health and social care, more complex courses like the health and social care level 1s and 2, mental health awareness, and some other courses such as the budgeting skills and the healthy eating skills, which will help to promote the skills within the personal assistants that are out there, help to promote the skills of people that are potentially wanting to become personal assistants, but also for family members that are caring for people. They can also look to go onto these courses. Now, most of the training is free, so most of the courses will say they're free to anybody. Some courses will say that they're free to people that earn less than £17,000 a year. It all depends on which course, but generally speaking, any course that is supporting one of our direct payment for a personal assistant that's supporting our direct payment service users, it would be provided for free. And it's a really, really good way of strengthening that workforce out there and giving confidence as well to employers and service users that employ PAs to say, okay, you're looking after me, you know me really, really well, but let's just make sure that you have as much information to do your job as best possible. So it's a really, really useful tool that we have available to us via adult learning, and they can all be found at our website, norfolk.gov.uk/PA training, and there's new courses going on all the time. There was I believe working with children course that was full yesterday, which ran, and we've got some more coming soon. So and dates are being published. So keep an eye on that if you're interested in doing any training or if you're getting your PA on that. I'm going to pass you over to Kat, and we're going to talk about Facebook.
Facebook, yes, thank you very much. So as a lot of companies nowadays, we really are trying to reach across a possible or wider expanse as we can. So we have successfully created a Facebook direct payment support services page. So what you see on the screen is the look of exactly from our front page there. This has been up and running for coming up for a year now. It's nearly its annual birthday. So on here, we have a dedicated section for jobs. So you don't have to scroll through all of the posts. If somebody is actively seeking employment, they can click on the left-hand side. There's a job tabs there, and it will then advertise all the different jobs that are available across the Norfolk area, explaining in brief detail what locality they are situated in. So if you're considering having a PA, you may want to have a little look at the wording that they've put there and what kind of job aspects, and then that will give you an idea of how you would like your job advert to be displayed on Facebook. And we get lots of applications this way on a daily basis, and especially, again, mentioning COVID, it's been mentioned more than Christmas. A lot of people are changing the types of employment that they're looking for now. So there's lots of jobs being posted, and they are being filled as well. So please don't have any fear about not being able to find a PA. One of these methods is a great way of supporting you. Anything that's up and coming and what's new. So we've just recently released yesterday our updated FAQs for those people who are employing PAs about extremely vulnerable, which is to overtaking the shielding aspect there. If we're doing any events, again, such as today, we will also post that on our Facebook page as well. We have coming up to 700 likes. You'll see we have a liked button. More importantly, in the middle, click the following button, and then that way it will come up onto your Facebook feed. Any events, any information that may be applicable to you, and just tag people at most hours of the day or night. We do also have a Twitter page. We do predominantly use that for job adverts and events. So that about wraps up the media side of things. I'll pass over to Sean to close.
Thank you, Kat. I mean, Kat and I are part of the Direct Payment Support Services. We are there to help to develop the service and to help to make it as so that it meets the requirements as much as possible to anybody receiving a direct payment, whether it's through adult services or children's services. But we also need feedback. So we have a dedicated feedback email address, which is dpssfeedback@norfolk.gov.uk. Now, this is an email address which is monitored by Kat and myself. And, you know, we really look for people's feedback into what works well within the service, what doesn't quite work so well, so that we can make sure that we add the required developments to our list of what we need to do to make the service absolutely spot on. So please, by all means, you know, if you've got any feedback into the service, any ideas, any questions, then please do email us at that email address box. We've also got a survey for today's session, which is up on the screen there. If you would like to leave feedback on Kat and my presentation, it would be useful so that we can know what we need to do differently, what we do well within our presentations. We're very much within time today, so we would happily welcome any questions that we have from our audience. So if there's any questions, then please ask away. So I don't think we have got any questions come up. So we are ahead of time, but I would like to thank you for coming along today, and for those that are listening along on the recorded version. I'd say if you do have any questions, please ping us on those on the feedback email address. And but thank you very much for attending today. Okay.
I feel like a news presenter.
Yeah. And cut.
Hello.
Thank you, Marianne. I'm sorry you were the only one here, but
I had actually unmuted myself. Oh, muting.
Oh.
Can you hear me?
Yes,
yeah, I can hear you now.
Oh, I did have a question.
Oh, please ask. Please ask.
You didn't mention sickness and holiday relief.
Okay, so Yeah, so and that is a common question that people ask. At the moment, what the situation is with when planning a direct payment, there always needs to be sort of contingencies in mind. If you only have one personal assistant and that personal assistant is either off sick or goes on holidays, at the moment, what the guidance is around that is hopefully there will be within your support, a person's support bubble, there will be either family or friends that could potentially step in at short notice to cover sickness or potentially holidays. If that's not the case, then we would recommend contacting adult social services that can arrange for assistance to be put in place to support someone that isn't able to, doesn't have a support network necessarily, or isn't able to have someone to help them at short notice. So adult social services can put care and support in place through either an agency or something like that. We are looking at future developments around this very question, and we're hoping to soon have an option available that will help us with that, but we're not ready with that just yet. But it is something that we're working on, because that is a common question that people do ask.
What I would say, just to tag on to the end of that, Sean, as well, is some people have taken on a second PA on a 0-hour contract. So they've found somebody, they've advertised for somebody as an emergency basis. So they're not guaranteed any hours on any form of set pattern, but they would be called upon on shortness for sickness and holiday cover as well. So that is something to also think about when going down that PA route, is potentially having that second or third PA that is a bank that doesn't really do anything until that moment occurs.
The important thing as well to consider is that legally, if someone's going to be employed as a personal assistant, that person needs to have an employment contract in place at the very latest on the day that they start. So it is important to make sure you know that there is something, if you're looking to get official cover in place.
Right.
For through that is important to have that lined up in advance, because legally it is a requirement to have that employment contract. It's not the same if you have someone that's self-employed, for example, because there is no employment contract. There's just a contractual agreement between the self-employed personal assistant and the person that is taking on their services. But yeah, if you're employing someone, that is very important. And hopefully we'll have a big development on that coming in the new year, we're hoping, but we're not quite there yet. Does that answer your question, Mary?
Yes, yeah, because especially with COVID, somebody could be okay one day and the next have to self-isolate for a fortnight or something. Yeah, and you're going to be in trouble then, aren't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. And what we have as part of Norfolk County Council, when COVID sort of happened, adult social services, with the support of our direct payment support services, contacted everybody with a direct payment, because a lot of services were cancelled, and they then talked about the contingency requirements for each individual person. So it was a case of that it's very possible your personal assistant may not be able to come to you. What have you got in place, or what do we need to consider? So hopefully everybody's been, we have contacted people around that to make sure everybody has at least that thought of their contingency in place, because as you say, with COVID, you just don't know from one day to the next whether or not someone is gonna be able to support you, or that you're going to be able to have that person into your house.
Well, they might not get it themselves, but they might get one of these apps that Boris Johnson's had pinging at him,
yes,
saying you have been near somebody that's had it. Self-isolate now immediately, 14 days or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And then the person being cared for could be stuck again, even though their PA is probably fit to work.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where that contingency planning is so important, and making sure that people either have a plan in place for someone in their support bubble, if they have one, to support them, or knowing what to do, or at the very sort of last resort is to contact social services to make sure someone can be put into place urgently to support that person. So yeah, contingency. So important, because you just never know. That is the thing at the moment. We don't know what's around the corner with COVID. Hopefully a vaccine and a way forward, but we will see.
Well, yeah, I mean, we don't know, do we? But
no,
that would be my worry.
Yeah. Any other questions at all, Marianne?
No, I don't think so. I'm just thinking, if somebody manages reasonably well, they don't actually need a PA, I suppose. Can they decide they want a cleaning lady and a gardener, for example, to help them?
It all depends on the individual's needs. So when so we're talking about an adult here, I guess. Yeah. So when an adult is assessed and has their Care Act assessment, they look at the needs and the person's outcomes that they're trying to achieve, and direct payments can be used flexibly, which is the point of a direct payment in many ways, but it has to be that need is met and the outcome is met. So that would be a conversation for the person who's considering the direct payment or who's got the direct payment and their social work practitioner to agree what can and can't be used for, because there are certain things, I mean, we need to make sure that it's all Care Act compliant and that things are meeting that person's outcomes. So it all depends on the individual, really.
Mm-hmm. Right.
If you wanted an idea, you could always pop onto Facebook if you do have that, and look at the jobs being advertised, and that will give you an idea of the kinds of jobs that are being advertised and what they're looking for as the roles of that PA. That might help answer that question a little bit more.
Yeah, I'll do that. I didn't know you had a Facebook page.
Yeah, it's Kat's baby, and it's we're quite proud of the fact that we've managed to keep people up to date, and we have so many followers. It was like, wow. But it's a really, really useful tool, and a lot of people do go on there, and we recruit an awful lot of people through Facebook as well. It's a very, very useful tool nowadays.
Share away. Know that you're aware of it. Any network that you have that it may benefit, please do tell them to find the page and follow us. Absolutely.
I'm not overly good with Facebook, but I do belong to the odd groups, not necessarily to do with this, other things, and it is incredibly useful. But I don't post a lot. I tend to read what other people have put.
Yeah, I'm the same.
Me too.
but I can see that this would be useful, and if it's not very well known, I'm happy to tell people I know about it, because I'm sure a lot of people don't know about it.
Please do.
Yeah. Okay. That's about all I've got to say, I think.
Yeah.
And that's one of the purposes of coming.
The other thing, your bank account, is it a proper bank?
It is.
Right. Is it a high street bank? Like Barclays or Lloyds?
It is managed by Barclays. But you couldn't go into Barclays and use this. They wouldn't have access to this particular type of bank account. Does that make sense?
It's like, a subsidiary.
It's a bit like an insurance underwriter. So when you join up with an insurance company, they are not the company that actually pay out. They have like an underwriter. That kind of thing.
Kind of, absolutely. So rather than having the banner of Barclays, it is the PFS. But it is Barclays, so it's all regulated and approved. And
Okay, right. We're going to have to end there because I need to jump on to
another one.
Thank you for having us.
I've got another one starting at 12, so
I'll be on there in a minute. Okay.
Well, thank you for having us. Take care, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks for coming on. Bye.
Bye.